My 3D printer's in the background, so you might hear that running. But focusing on modular programming, let's look at defining and calling functions. So first, what is a function? Well, a function is a collection of statements that perform a specific task. The benefit of using functions is known as code rents. You don't need to remember this, but just know that it's because you're writing code to perform a task once, and then you're able to reuse it every time you need to perform that task another time, instead of it only being for a single purpose. Now, what is a function call? A function call is a statement causing a function to execute. We'll go over an example in a second. A function definition contains the statements that make up the function, and this is its basic syntax. When creating a function, you're going to write its definition. All function definitions have the following parts. You're going to have a return type. A function can send a value to the part of the program that executed it. We'll talk about return types later in future videos. Next is the name. So names give the function a unique descriptive name. Parameter list is pretty cool. The program calling this function can send data into the function itself. So you're not just limited to returning information, you can give it information to use, and that's what the parameter list is. It's a list of variables that hold the values being passed to the function. And then you have the body, and the body of a function is a set of statements that perform the function's operations. Basically all of the main code. The header is everything that I listed previously that's not the body. Everything else is the header. So if you look at int main on line 10, that's the header. It's returning an integer type. That's what this is right here. It's called main, and then it has these parentheses. Inside of these parentheses is where any parameters that we wanted to would be passed in. Let's talk about void functions really quick. Functions normally return 0. Remember, our int main is supposed to return 0 when it's done. It's not necessary though, and functions without a return 0 are called void functions. That's what this is, line 27 to 29. The function will simply display a message on the screen and then exit when it's called. And speaking of calling a function, a program is executed when it's called. The main function is called automatically when a program starts. So whenever you run your program, the int main is going to be the first thing that executes. All other functions must be executed by function call statements. And this is where in your main function, you'd be calling these other functions. Like this void one, we'll call in a second for an example. When a function is called, the program branches to that function and execute the statements in the body. So we're gonna call display message and we're going to execute what's inside of here. If we had more code, it would execute as well. So let's call this function. You're gonna see there's a little bit of an issue here. So let me try to write it out. Display, and you see it doesn't pop up in our recommended. Well, that's because if you want these functions, you're gonna have to create them before our main method. Now, this isn't always true, but let's just assume it is for this video because there's a way around this. But we're gonna put all functions that we want to make before our main. And again, this is just moving any code that we don't want in our main into here. It's called object-oriented programming, and it allows to keep our main method a little bit nicer. It's better to move specific things into methods so that, again, we can reuse them and it's less cluttered. So now if we go in here, we have display message, we have a good call here, we can end this line, and if we run our console, you'll see that it'll print hello from display message, and then you won't be able to see it make a new line, but it will make a new line. And that's pretty much it for the introduction to defining and calling functions. The next couple of videos will be all about functions, so if you don't understand it, don't sweat. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I love to talk to you. And if you have more yearning for C++, check out the description, because in the description below the like button is more C++ videos.